Hi gorgeous, and a very happy Frugal Friday to you. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I make videos like this every Friday focusing on drugstore makeup, so please subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. Today I'm reviewing an entirely brand new line for you that has come into Walgreens stores. It's called c.y.o. I have a number of different products to test out, including eyeshadow, blush, highlighter, lipstick, lip liner, foundation, powder, concealer. I bought it all. I had fun doing it too, let me tell you. Every product I'm showing you here today is something I'm using for the first time, so you get my first impressions with each item, and I'll also show you a wear test at the end of the video, as I usually do, so you can see how these products truly perform. But first we're gonna zoom in. Yeah. You like those sound effects? Yeah, my son does too. Makes him laugh every time. There will come a day where he won't laugh anymore, which I'm not looking forward to, but for now, he cracks him up. One of the eyeshadows that really caught my attention from the CYO brand was one of their metallic eyeshadows. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's called Crush on Metal, and this is in the shade Lovey Dovey. Let's just swatch it. Oh, I want to swatch it. So curious about it. I don't think they had a tester for this one in store. Ow! I love it. And if you have blue eyes, green eyes, shoot, brown eyes, hazel eyes, every eye color, pretty much, try a color like this. It will make them insanely vibrant. I do already have an eyeshadow primer applied, so that is done. I'm going to apply this metallic shade. Oh my goodness. Look at that. See what I mean already? Comparing this eye to this eye. Oh wait till I'm done. Next eyeshadow I'm going to use is one of their matte finishes in the shade Matte in Eyelids. It's a neutral light brown. They have samples in the store that you can try, by the way, with this brand, which is really nice to see, because I don't know about you, but the most frustrating part to me going to drugstores and looking at makeup is not being able to test the stuff out before you purchase it. So I'm very happy to see that this brand has incorporated testers into their displays. I'm sorry, I was wrong about that last eyeshadow I used. It's very confusing how they have the names on the backs of these eyeshadows. See right there where it says Matte and Eyelid? You would expect that to be the name, but no, this is the name right here, Nothing to It. So the one I used in the crease here was Nothing to It. And the next one I'm going to use is Deep Thought, which is a little bit of a deeper brown. And I'm applying that right into the outer corner of the eye. Pigmentation is really light with these, lighter than I had expected it to be. It's not as intense as what I swatched in the store, from what I recall. I remember them being much darker than this. I did not get any of the brow products to try because they didn't have the lighter shades. They were completely sold out, so we may have to test that out at a later date. What I am going to do is go ahead and fill in my brows with my regular brow product. I'll finish the lashes, and then we'll come back and do the face. Next product I'm testing out for you here is their long-lasting foundation, and I picked up the shade 101, I think. That's all I can find on here. And this is a silicone-based foundation. Comes with a pump, nice to see. A little runnier than normal. Does not have a smell, which is nice. I don't know why companies feel the need to fragrance up their foundations. It's not necessary. I'm wearing it on my face, people, for crying out loud. Keep the scents out of it. It's blending in nicely. I'm not having any issues there. It seems to be providing pretty good coverage. It didn't say what level of coverage it provided, did it? No, it doesn't, but I would consider it to be probably a medium coverage, and you could more than likely build it up to be full coverage if you applied another layer on top of the first layer. Next up, I'm using their highlighting concealer. This says Brush with Brilliance, and it looks like the number 7 Radiant Glow Concealer, where you have a little push button on the bottom and you have to push to get the product out of the tip. These always take a while when they're brand new. Ah, no it didn't. Okay, right on. I don't like to sit there and wait for a product, so it's nice to see that it came right out. Shade that I'm using here is Fair, by the way, and I'm using that same sponge to blend the concealer under the eyes. Unfortunately, this is not like the Rimmel concealer that I tried recently, where the second I picked that up, I thought it was awfully dark looking. And even after I applied it, I thought, man, it looks a little dark on my skin. But this one looks pretty good. And it did a real nice job of concealing under eye circles. Looks like skin. Loving it so far. And to set everything, I am using this powder. It's a matte pressed powder. It's the Meet Your Matte powder in the shade Fair. And take this little guy off right there. It does come with a little powder puff. I'm not going to use that. I am going to use my powder brush from Wet n Wild. Now this powder looks a little dark, doesn't it? I don't know if it's going to come across on camera or not, but in real life, that doesn't look fair to me. I hope I'm not surprised by this when I go out in daylight later on and I get the shock of, oh, my face is darker than my neck. I'm gonna take one of their powder blushes next. This is in the shade Tell It Straight. Basically what I'm doing this entire video, I'm gonna tell you straight. And this is a peach shade. Gosh, every time I look at my face, like not looking at my face for a split second and then looking up at my face, my first impression is, whoa, my face is dark. Really pretty color. I like this blush. It's not super pigmented, but it's not hard to get it show up either. Pretty nice. Got a little bit of a highlighter mixed in there, a little golden glow. Speaking of highlighter, I did also pick up their bronzing and highlighting palette, and this is in the shade In the Clouds. I'm not sure that I understand how to bronze with this palette so much. I mean, I could take my brush and run it along the shade down there. Oh, I don't really want to do that. So I'm just going to highlight, and I think I'll sweep the brush along these two top shades and lightly deposit that color. Ooh, a little bit goes a long way. Goodness gracious, yes. For the lips, I did pick up a lip liner and a lipstick. The lip liner is in the shade Handful, which looked like a dusty rose mauve. The lipstick is in the shade Keeper, and it's a little too light for me, but I'm thinking combining it up with the lip liner will make it a little bit more wearable. Before I apply each of these on my lips, I'll show you swatches on the back of my hand so you can get an idea of the color. So this is the lip liner, really pretty color, and I'll draw in a little bit of the heart here so you can really see that color. This is the lipstick, which is, like I said, whoo buddy, it's frosty, but it's also a really light pink, really hard for even me to wear by itself. And the pigmentation with the lip liner is okay. It's a little lighter than most other drugstore lip liners I have used. It's not terrible, but it's not one of the best either. I'm gonna layer the lipstick over the top. We'll see what this looks like. Oh, it's not too bad. I'm almost thinking I want to keep this more in the center of the lips because it is such a shimmery shade to give the lips that highlight in the center. Yeah, it's not too bad once you pair them together. That face though, I mean, goodness gracious, that face is still dark to me. Woo! And here we are at 8 hours later, and I gotta tell you, I am pretty impressed with this brand. The lip liner is intact. The lipstick, of course, wore off. Probably not long after I had applied it earlier in the day. The eyeshadow still looks really great. Those mattes did fade, unfortunately, but the metallic shade is still pretty vibrant on the lids, as you can see there. The face looks really good. I mean, it's a little shinier than I would like, but it's not terrible. It didn't move. It didn't rub off, which I really like to see. The blush did fade. It's not very noticeable anymore on the cheeks, but the highlighter is still there, it looks like. I mean, either that's oil or that's highlight. No, it is highlight, but it's hard to tell when you're oily. And the concealer, I forgot to mention the concealer. My under eye area looks great. I'll even zoom you in here so you can see what I'm seeing. No major creasing, no settling into fine lines. It looks fantastic. And I was worried about the face being darker than my neck, but it's almost like the foundation leveled itself out the more I wore it. It's really hard to explain. I did go outside. I looked at my face and my neck to see if there was a color difference. Nothing apparent outside. So this may be one of those foundations that takes a little while to adjust to your skin coloring. NYX has one that does that on me too. It goes on very, very pale, but then after a few hours it looks normal, and this gives me that impression also. Overall, very impressed with a majority of the products that I tested out for you in today's video from the CYO brand. I don't recommend the matte eyeshadows simply because they lack pigmentation and they do fade quite a bit after wearing them all day. I typically don't like to see that. I also don't recommend the blush because that faded off pretty quickly too, and you can't see where I had applied it earlier. The foundation will probably need to be used with a primer or a setting spray to eliminate some of the shine factor, but I feel like it could be a really great one if combined up with one of those products. Everything else, concealer, lip liner, metallic eyeshadow, the powder, the highlighter, absolutely worth looking into. And I would also check out other products from the CYO brand based on my experience with these. And I do recommend that you check them out too. So if you see them in Walgreens, give them a second glance. I hope you found this video helpful today. If you've been wondering about the CYO brand, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend ahead. Please subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.